Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today we got Sneak Peek 1 officially from Supercell in Clash Royale. We got the quest feature. You guys can see it in the background right now. But today, as we like to do here on CWA, we're going to go next level on this. And I brought in one of the best minds in the Clash Royale content creation, TheRumHam. RumHam, how you doing, man?
Doing great this morning. Yeah, I, like you, woke up to the sneak peek. Quests are all over the place, and I'm excited to kind of get my hands on them. We played around a little bit in the dev build with them, but I can't wait to get them in the live game.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring you on just to get your first reaction on the quests. You guys have probably already seen the other sneak peek videos, so you know, in a nutshell, basically they're taking away the achievements next update. They're taking away the free chests, and they're adding all sorts of incentives for people to play in different ways on ladder, and it looks like it might even extend into 2v2 and other special event modes. Basically, giving you objectives to complete, kind of diversify the meta a little bit, also keep you engaged in ladder, and much more things on top of that. You guys can see again in the background, you make progress not only for immediate daily rewards, but also for a chest, which is really cool. So Rum, as a former game designer, what do you think, maybe like high level here, what do you think about this whole quest concept? Why did they do it?
Well, the good news is that quests are one of the most reliable game features you can find in any mobile or free-to-play game. It's actually kind of a surprise it's taken this long for quests to get here, but I can almost guarantee they're going to be a net positive into the game because it's not something necessarily that new or groundbreaking, but I really like the way that Clash Royale has implemented it into having both daily logins, daily quests, and then a sort of weekly goal where you build your quest points up into getting a larger chest. I think that the big determining factor for whether or not people are going to like this is whether or not it feels like you get more from the quests than you did from the free chests. The removal of free chests and the removal of achievements are always going to burn people a little bit, right? People aren't going to be that happy about it. But if you think about it, you were only getting like a couple silver chests a day. And if the weekly goal is like even just a single magical or legendary chest, that's worth more than a whole week of silver chests.
Absolutely, and it's easier to kind of maintain too, or at least for me. I always miss free chests. I'm notorious.
Yeah, I think we all do, right? Like it's even if you're sleeping, you sleep for 8 hours or whatever, you're losing a couple hours in there. And I think for a lot of people, that efficiency can be bothersome, or it feels like you have to log in every 4 hours or else you're missing something. This way, even if you only have time to play Clash Royale once or twice per day, like in the morning before work or in the evening before bed, you're not missing those free chests, and you're ideally building up to bigger and splashier goals. But a lot of that is going to come down to how people feel about it, like not necessarily the hard math, but literally just the sort of intuitive, does this feel like I'm getting more than I did before?
Okay, yeah, I think early reaction, obviously, and who knows how they're actually going to react, the public, but I feel like it's going to feel like that because you're getting rewarded twice, right? You're getting rewarded once you accomplish something, and you get that immediate satisfaction of accomplishing a quest, and then you make progress towards that larger goal, So, and I watched OJ's video. It sounds like it's on a chest cycle inside the quest. So you'll get, I'm not sure if it's based on the same math that the normal chest cycle is, but you'll get, that super magical, that legendary once every cycle or twice, whatever it is. So I think that there's stuff to look forward to. There's also kind of a double feeling of accomplishment, of achievement once you unlock or finish a quest. You make progress with the quest points towards the overall big chest opening. So what I wanted to kind of ask you now is, how do you think, because I know that you've talked about this quite a lot, RumHam, and I have too, is we're kind of both a little bit worried about the state and the health of regular ladder 1v1, right? Especially with touchdown mode coming and 2v2 just being more casual, more easy, less stressful. How do you think this will impact 1v1 ladder? Do you think this is the answer that we kind of needed, especially in that lower to mid-tier sections of ladder?
Well, I think the biggest gain for 1v1 is if you want, I think gems, I think quests are going to be better than the old free chest system. So the free chest would give you what, like 2 or 3 gems every once in a while. It wasn't even a guarantee that you'd get it. From the looks of it, the daily quests are going to give you about 10 gems a day, and you can have more than one daily quest, up at a time. So what I think that's going to be good for it is that if you want to play classic challenges, if you want to play grand challenges, if you really like that one-on-one game mode, you now have a clear path from complete your quests on the ladder. Win, lose, or draw kind of doesn't matter. Like a lot of them have, win 3 games by using witch or whatever. So it's like, even if that takes you 6 or 7 games, it's fine because you're going to get gems at the end of it. And the faster gem accumulation you're going to be able to take into the challenges where you get to play the one-on-one you really like. I'm not sure if that's going to draw people out, like people who are just 2v2 players, if it's going to draw them out of 2v2 into 1v1, but I do like that it creates a better economy for people who want to do those classic and grand challenges. They have a much clearer path to getting gems than crossing your fingers and hoping that your crown or your free or crown chest would give them to you. The big gain, I think, for ladder is the new gem rush and gold rush mode, which truthfully, I haven't actually played much of it in the dev build, so I'm going to be just like seeing how it goes when it goes live. But the general idea basically is that you're going to get extra gold, extra gems from playing 1v1 on the ladder, and I think that's the big incentive to get people back into it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you kind of maybe each individual new feature, aspect, or mode or whatever, maybe in itself isn't quite enough to make, ladder viable again 1v1. But I think if you put it all together, like you said, gem rush, gold rush in the quests, you might just get, a healthy ladder again. But I guess my question to you is will this translate into maybe a more diverse or less frustrating meta, because people are going to be playing all these special quest cards, in a more diverse way? Or will, at the end of the day, the strong cards still be the strong cards, especially as you get up higher in ladder and, balance changes just as much a necessity as they are right now?
All right. Well, here's the big solution I think that needs to be changed for ladder. I mean, I think these incentives are great. These are carrots that makes it more valuable for you to spend your time on ladder. But I think the core problem is that ladder for a lot of people is fundamentally unenjoyable because they can't play a lot of the cards they like. It's hard to play your epics. It's hard to play your legendaries. And as everyone knows, ladder is incredibly dominated by over-leveled commons.
Yeah.
So I feel like the long-term solution is to fix the game balance with regard to ladder. Like, stop over-leveling. The suggestion that I've brought up a bunch of times, and it's just never really, I've been told that it's harder to implement than it sounds, because it sounds pretty simple to me, is to implement, like in Clash of Clans, you cannot upgrade cards past a certain town hall level. Like, it says, hey, you'd like to upgrade your barbarians. Oh, you can't do it. Your town hall level's got to be higher. If there was a limit on how you could level your characters that was tied to your player level, so for example, you couldn't level common to level 11 unless you were also player level 11, that fixes the over-leveling problem immediately. And even if you said, okay, everyone who has higher level cards gets to keep higher level cards, but they won't be able to level them further, then the problem will sort itself out over time, because the people with level 13 Royal Giants are just going to keep leveling up from 10 to 11 to 12 to whatever, but they're not going to be able to get their elite barbs to level 13 until they themselves also get to level 13. I'm not really sure why this is like such a complicated or off-putting change that can't be made, but I feel like all of these other solutions for ladder are putting lipstick on a pig, right? It's like it's making it more valuable to play ladder, and it's more tolerable to put up with it because I'm getting chest rewards and I'm getting more gold and gems, but it doesn't fix the core problem that I've spent $10,000 on Clash Royale and I don't have any legendaries I can play on the ladder. It doesn't fix the core problem of it takes me 7 months to get my epics caught up to the point where I can actually play them on ladder. You know what I mean? Like, there's bigger problems there.
I totally agree with. I was hoping that you were going to say that and I was hoping that you were going to mention your solution there, because I said in a video, I think last week when I talked about ladder, and I said, I even referenced you because I thought it was you who came up with that, solution. Not that it's groundbreaking, about the over leveling, above your King Tower level. And for whatever reason, I wasn't sure if it was a great solution up until recently, and I just gave it more thought, and I was like, you know what? That makes all the sense in the world, right? Like, what's the issue exactly? Like, kind of like you said, it doesn't, I don't think it will dramatically affect Supercell's bottom line, because I know I'm going to get 100 comments. Oh, it's because they want money, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that it will be that dramatic of a...
Not at all. Yeah, if you are looking to make a max account, then what's the difference? You're going to get to level 13 on that account anyways. If you're somebody who's willing to spend $1,000 or $2,000 in the game, you're likely not very price sensitive to things like, oh, that thing costs $5 more or whatever. So if you're going to put $2,000 into Clash Royale anyways, I think being told, like, hey, by the way, you're going to have to get a player level to level 12 before you can level this common to level 12 is just going to make them upgrade more cards. It hasn't been a problem in Boom Beach. It hasn't been a problem in Clash Royale. I was really surprised that they didn't just have that in as a restriction at the launch of the game, and now a year and a half later, we're seeing the effects of that.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever see another Ultimate Champion if they don't do this?
Yeah, I don't think the very tippy top ranks are affected by that because, of course, they all have max cards, and it's just, it's pretty. The biggest annoyance, I think, for the max accounts and the very tippy top ladder is when a very new card like Night Witch or Mega Knight comes out. And if you've already maxed if you have a max account that's 3 months old, you can't really go back to the owner of the account and say, hey, I need $20,000 more just to max out Mega Knight. So a lot of people are frustrated by the newer releases, but I don't think it changes that much. I think the big gap is really around the 2,000 to 4,000 trophy range, where for a majority of free-to-play players find themselves. You start off early trying to level up a bunch of different cards and even out your account, and then only at 2,000 trophies do you realize, like, oh, I should have just been focusing 1 or 2 cards this whole time. You try to switch paths to that, but you're constantly behind. I play free-to-play accounts. It's not uncommon to see level 11 commons at like 2,200 trophies. So but it's easy to get to 2,000 trophies very quickly. So I think there's this big friction point in the ladder around basically where free-to-play players start to hit the wall, and that's the real challenge with ladder, because I want those players to stick around forever. I want those players to play Clash Royale for the next 5 years, and I feel like that tension is making them quit after only 6 months.
I agree, and I think that, you hit on the real heart of the problem there, but I think that superficially, I think that for whatever reason, maybe it's just the advent of 2v2 as a permanent game mode, but I think that there's kind of been a deflation, if you will, of like personal best each season. So it feels like we're not making progress, and psychologically, you don't want to play a game where you feel like you're just getting worse every season, right? So I feel like maybe, just maybe, this can make ladder sexy enough, this new quest update, to kind of populate it enough with a more diverse amount of players that you can actually at least make a little bit of progress in the meantime, while hopefully they fix those underlying issues that you kind of hit on. Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah, I at least agree that it's going to make laddering more fun with regards to trying out experimental decks. Like currently, if I play 5 Witch decks and lose all of them, that just is miserable, right? But if I have a quest that's like, hey, play Witch and Clone together, even if I lose all those games, but I walk away with more coins, more gems, and progress towards like a magical or legendary chest, I think that's fine. The good news is that because ladder doesn't mean so much anymore, losing like 100 or 200 trophies doesn't really feel like it matters because the resets keep happening, and it's pretty easy to climb up about 1,000 trophies from the reset, give or take. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I used to hit 5,500 every season. My trophy high is 5,800, and I haven't gone past 5,200 the last 2 or 3 months. And it's partially, 2v2. Like, I just like playing 2v2 with my clanmates. You get the exact same rewards. One of the ways they could turn around ladder, unfortunately, would be just removing the chest reward for 2v2. But I don't think that's a good solution. But, I mean, there does seem to be a clear correlation between being able to get your ladder chest from 2v2 and the decline in one-on-one play. But I think that all just comes back to that ladder is, like, not fun, not satisfying compared to the other game modes. And there doesn't seem to be a clear path to get it. Like, what I almost wish that this quest system helps implement and brings along over the next few updates is a way for me as a player to target, like, epics and legendaries to get more of. Like, the requesting epics on Sundays is great. The being able to buy legendaries out of the shop is great. But, like, I've bought every princess since I've seen one, and I only have 13 out of 20. Like, I'm a little more than halfway from level 4 to 5. Well, how can you spend this large amount of money and not have a single max legendary? It just feels like, you know what I mean? It feels like I can't actually play ladder despite having overcome the financial barriers to having a max account. So that it feels weird to me. I can't play Bandit. I can't play Electro Wizard. And as a side note, I think part of the reason why, and something we talked about the last time I was on your channel, was that really the most versatile and powerful cards slowly but surely have become legendary cards. So when I look, when I cast CCGS, and I see decks that are 4 or 5 legendaries, they're not gimmick decks. They're just running the best cards. it's hard for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna go play that deck on ladder because all my legendaries are level 2 or 3 and my commons are level 13.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And that's the most frustrating part about it is we're big spenders, you and I. You know, we're not the typical free-to-play player or the typical player who maybe just drops like $10 a month or something like that. Like, we're not afraid to spend. And yet, both of us, you know, a year and a half plus into the game, we still can't play half the decks that we see in CCGS on ladder. We still can't, you know, because I have
ladder
2
deck
max
is just,
epics, you know?
Yeah, exactly. My ladder deck is basically just max commons and rares. I actually play Golem. I have a max Golem, so it's like Golem, but like everything else in the deck does not resemble Golem decks that you see at the highest tiers of grand challenges or competitive play. And it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. I do think quests help, but I just think that the problem with they're trying to fix ladder by being like, hey, it's more rewarding to put up with ladder. But I think the long-term solution is just to make ladder more closely resemble the good, balanced, quality, competitive grand challenge, you know, meta that we see. I'd much rather see ladder resemble challenges where things are balanced. The meta's great. Like, so many competitive level. The grand challenge meta is awesome. The classic challenges are super fun. The big problem is that it just doesn't translate to the ladder. So you can make it more viable or more rewarding by getting, you know, oh, I get an extra 500 gold every time I play ladder. But that's like paying a kid to do their chores, right? Like, they're not thrilled about mowing the lawn,
That's true.
but they'll do it for $20.
Good analogy, Rob. I think that you hit the nail on the head there. I think that, you know, I did reach out to the Supercell team and ask them specifically about this issue, like, what's up with ladder and do you have any plans on addressing it? And just to share their response, it wasn't it was a good response. It wasn't the best response, but they said that they agree that ladder isn't a great place right now and it's not in a great state. And they do plan on addressing it, but right now they have no concrete plans as to what they're going to do or exactly when they're going to do it. But at least they kind of agree with us and most people watching that ladder just isn't the best place right now in Clash Royale. So I hope maybe next update, who knows, we'll see some sort of changes.
And I don't really want this to come off as sort of a negative thing. I am genuinely excited about Quest. I think it's cool. I think a lot of it's going to come down to implementation. So, for example, if I have a golden chest every week, and the times that I see super magicals or legendaries as my weekly reward is like super rare, then I'm going to feel like, man, this sucks. I grind all week and I just get a golden chest every week. But if it's pretty common to see like a magical or giant or better, and I feel like each week there's a meaningful reward for me to work towards, I think quests are going to be, you know, the greatest addition to the progression system since they added like the super magicals and legendaries and all the great chests in there. So I think there's a lot of value to be had, but I just can't speak too confidently on it because with the dev builds, you know, you're only doing a few things. You're not really playing in a real environment. But I could see a month from now going, oh, the last 4 weeks, I've got 1 gold chest, 1 giant chest, a magical, and a legendary. It was awesome. It's so much better than the old system.
Again, I agree. I think that you're right. If you're working towards even a giant chest once a month, it's not that intriguing, you know. But if you're right, if you do have 1 super magical in there or something like that, that's even if they were to rework it where you're making progress, always making progress towards a super magical chest, always, but it just takes forever to do. I think just you know, the placebo of that would be like, here I go, you know, like I'd always want to grind, you know, to make that happen. Absolutely. As long as I could see it there. So maybe they did say this is like version 1 and they have a ton to add to it during the Radio Royale video. So you know, I'm sure they'll be adding tons of things like this and addressing concerns or feedback from the community. So I'm really confident in it overall as well. I do think that we kind of, towards the middle of the video there, we did kind of, you know, hammer away at the system. But I agree with you. I do love challenges. I love tournament level standard. I love where the game is, and I love these additions. It's just a question of how can it fix or how can it make ladder better. So just want to thank you again for coming on, Rum. You're doing a great job in the NACCGS. Any shout-outs, plugs, anything like that before we let you go?
You know, we're still doing Draft Royale on my channel, still streaming on Twitch if you got time to stop on by. I know I've been so busy, I haven't been able to keep up with YouTube as much as I'd like to because of all of my other Crown Championship commitments, but you know, stop by the channel, click that subscribe button, mash that sub button. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, man. And guys, make sure you check out, I tweeted this the other day, but I got to mention it before I let you go, is check out his building a board game video. That was like, I really enjoyed that. Like, I was captivated. It was like a 24-minute video, and from minute 1 to 24, I was like, wow, this is so cool. So I'll link that below, guys, if you want to check it out. It's TheRumHam designing and building a board game from scratch. Really cool. So with that, TheRumHam, thanks for coming on. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. And as always, take care, guys.